It's 5 minutes with me.
Not long ago, one of my youth ministry friends tweeted these 4 words: lead students courageously today. It's a sentiment that's easy to skate past with a, yep, I'm doing that. After all, youth ministry always takes some amount of courage, right? But it gave me a little pause. After 4 decades of youth ministry, I might defensively respond with, hey, I'm 58 years old. Hanging out with teenagers at this age is clearly a sign of courage. But that's a smokescreen. In fact, I'm more inclined to phone it in and do what I've always done than ever before. When you're a rookie in youth ministry, everything's new. Teaching, interacting, planning, counseling. But after a few laps around the track, a bit of learning, and a bunch of helpful failure, things can quickly become rote. My current role as a volunteer youth worker is leading an 8th grade guys small group that's part of my church's middle school ministry. They're fun guys, and they like me well enough, and our weekly time together has become, well, easy enough. I prepare for 15 to 30 minutes, show up, get caught up on their lives, and lead a little discussion around some sort of spiritual theme. Enough of the time, at least something good happens, and we can all tick the box that says we accomplished what we're about. But I keep having them go silent and quickly hide their phones when I approach them engaged in what I simply thought was a casual conversation, like in the parking lot. My experience tells me that this is extremely normal for young teens and all teenagers, really. They're trying on different identities as part of the good and normal part of figuring out who they are. It's not like they're being fake in my presence. They're merely in the process of living out multiple experimental selves to see what fits. However, it would be a lazy cop-out for me to leave it there. I know I need to jump into the deep end with some of these guys. Simply shaming them won't provide any meaningful long-term results. Instead, I need to get into the muck with them and help them wrestle with who they really want to be in the long run. I'm reminded of a conversation I had with my son some years ago when he was about 8. Max, who has grown into an awesome young man with convictions and humor and a strong sense of self, he really struggled as a kid with risk. He played baseball for a few years and was consistently one of the weakest players on the team. Really, it was anguishing for him and for us and for his coaches. After agonizing about whether or not he should play one final year, he finally decided to give it one more shot. After the final game of the season, while he and I were driving to the postseason team pizza bash, I asked him this question. Remember how hard it was to decide whether or not to play this last year? Are you glad you played? His surprisingly wise response was this: well, I wish I'd made the other decision not to play this year. But I know if I'd made that decision, I'd always wonder if I should have played, and I would never know. Now I know, so I guess I'm glad I made the decision I did. I don't golf much these days, but used to play regularly, and I'll always remember the comment offered to me once by an old guy who'd been stuck with me and my friends on a particular green after yet another one of my putts wasn't long enough. He said, approximately 100% of all short putts don't go in the hole. Max's wisdom and that old golfer's wisdom, they speak to my current youth ministry context. Have courage and try something. I'm not responsible ultimately for the spiritual transformation of my middle school guys. That's God's job. But I am responsible for stepping in with courage and trying something. I'm responsible for positioning myself in a way that God might use me. In what aspect of your ministry do you need to try something new? Maybe like me, that looks like diving into the mess of teenagers' lives rather than coasting along with your superficial stuff. Or maybe it looks like reinventing your program or the way you interact with parents or even your job description. Whatever the implications for you, I know this. Trying new things is life-giving because it always puts you in a place of dependency on God.
The Youth Cartel Podcast Network.